One of the main causes of death during the U.S. Civil War was diarrhea, and soldiers from both armies had an unwritten code of honor. One could not shoot a soldier from the opposing army who was squatting to relieve himself. John Lennon signing an autograph for his soon-to-be murderer, Mark David Chapman, hours before he was shot. A 120-ton silver nugget, British Columbia, 1892. A 13-year-old boy from the Hitler Youth taken prisoner, 1945. North Korean girls sing a song about Kim Il-sung, 1950. A break for tennis players, 1930. Those saved by Oskar Schindler and their children at his grave in the Catholic cemetery on Mount Zion in Jerusalem, 1993. Equipment for whipping in a police station, United Kingdom, late 19th century. German soldiers greet Soviet tanks with flowers, Poland, September 1939. In this photo, the English wizard Alex Sanders, self-proclaimed king of witches, is initiating a young novice into the mysteries of the magical arts. The wizard placed the naked novice in a circle, then lay on top and recited incantations. Thus, the girl became a witch. Sanders died on April 30, 1988, after a prolonged battle with lung cancer. God Save America from Communism, Boston, USA, 1950. Sailors of the Italian tall ship Amerigo Vespucci saying goodbye to their wives, Naples, 1963. A French soldier writes a letter during a break between the battles of the Verdun meat grinder, 1916. Rally for abortion legalization, Italy, 1975. 18-year-old Keisha Thomas protects a fallen man, suspected of having ties to the Ku Klux Klan, from an enraged crowd of protesters, Michigan, USA, 1996. Dubai, 1965. A Tibetan man greets a photographer in 1955. This gesture was traditional proof that they weren't reincarnated demons, because according to folklore, demons have green tongues. The survival record in open sea after a shipwreck was set by Chinese man Pan Lian. After a German submarine sank the English merchant ship where Pan worked as a steward, he spent 133 days on a wooden raft, surviving by catching fish, collecting rainwater, drinking bird blood, and even killing a shark. Residents of the Czech city of Ash greet German troops, 1938. Two American soldiers with a captured German anti-tank weapon, the Panzerschreck, during World War II. Village wedding, 1913. Incredibly happy faces. The oldest advertisement for escort services. These are the sandals of ancient Greek prostitutes with a mirrored inscription, "Follow me." The imprint of the inscription was left on the ground, thus advertising their services. Eunuch from the Imperial Court, Beijing, 1949. No, there is no banana there, 1958. The last photos of Adolf Hitler, where he is examining the ruins of Berlin hours before his death, 1945. Johnny Depp's 1994 arrest after he trashed a hotel room while trying to kill a cockroach. Japanese soldiers using Indian prisoners of war as target practice, World War II. The Nazis used victims' hair to produce socks, fuse, ropes, and mattresses. Camp commanders had to report monthly on the amount of hair collected. Where did the phrase "no risk, no champagne" come from? In the past, wine had a tendency to explode in France. Going down to the cellar for a bottle of champagne was quite a risk. People would go in special protective suits to guard against flying shards. Sommeliers from that time often lacked fingers or an eye. Over time, donuts changed. An Inuit man warms his wife's feet. Greenland, 1880s. Paul Tibbets, the man who dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, 1996. A rare photo of people enjoying casual conversation on September 11, 2001. A wedding procession in the 1960s, USSR. The entire village would gather for the newlywed celebration. Cat mobilization, USSR, 1942. 5,000 cats were sent to Leningrad to fight rodents and protect food supplies. Lebanon before the Islamic Revolution, 1965. Chinese Americans protest against scrap metal exports to Japan. Your children and wives could be next. This metal will be turned into bullets, 1939. Cambridge students protest the admission of women to the university, United Kingdom, 1897. To escape violence, a man fled Burma for Bangladesh, carrying his paralyzed parents 160 kilometers, 100 miles over 7 days. A hut in the Las Vegas Valley, USA, 1895. In 10 years, Las Vegas will gain city status. In 50 years, gangster Bugsy Siegel will open the Flamingo Casino, the first step towards becoming the gambling capital of the world. In 120 years, Las Vegas's McCarran Airport will serve around 50 million passengers annually. Survivors of the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, 1945. A downcast Ugandan ambassador at a UN General Assembly session, 1974. Superheroes wash windows in a children's hospital, USA, 2000s. The feeling when the Statue of Liberty stands in your backyard, USA, 1930. East German border guards observed the dispersal of protesters using tear gas on the other side of the Berlin Wall, 1988. The submarine Kursk being lifted from the bottom of the Barents Sea. A U.S. confectionery company stored its molasses in an enormous tank in Boston and severely skimped on maintenance. This led to an explosion, and 9 million liters of molten syrup swept over the city. People, horses, and cars were stuck fast in the molasses, and not everyone could be saved. Gangster Clyde Barrow once wrote a letter to Henry Ford expressing admiration for the V8 model and promising to only steal Fords. A woman has her head shaved for having an affair with a German soldier. France, 1944. The Last Kiss, 1987. On February 11, 1990, Mike Tyson suffered his first loss. Men show off a shared dual mustache. Japanese samurai respected the practice of Shudo, homosexual relationships between a young man and a mature man, believing it taught young men honor, aesthetic sense, and dignity. Love for a woman, conversely, was considered softening for men. California, 1890s. The immense stump of a giant sequoia remaining after the tree was cut down to manufacture a huge table for a wealthy American businessman. The pear of anguish was invented in the 16th century and used to punish women for adultery and abortions. It was inserted into the intimate area and the screw was turned, causing infernal torment. Woman snatches matches from a monk attempting self-immolation. Seoul, South Korea, 1963. Hamas militants in the residence of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas after its capture, June 15, 2007. Japanese children enjoying fresh snow, 1950s. A World War I veteran begs for alms on a Berlin street, 1923. A death toll counter from car accidents in Brooklyn, 1927. John Minnick, the heaviest person in medical history. Astonishingly, he found a slim girlfriend, Jeanette. The young couple quickly fell in love and married, despite the 300-pound weight difference between them. A soldier prays amid the ruins of a destroyed temple, Republic of Vietnam, 1972. Martin Luther King was arrested for demanding service in a whites-only restaurant, Florida, 1964. Creepy dental x-rays from the past. The medicine of the past could surprise you. Just look at this dental treatment. The Dyatlov Pass tourist group before their mysterious disappearance, 1959. In China, the death penalty was often carried out by shooting at close range from behind. Afterward, the relatives of the executed would receive a bill for 9 yuan, the cost of 1 bullet. If the person had no relatives, they would work in prison for a while to earn the money for the bullet. The May Sao, 1945 edition of the Stars and Stripes newspaper, Hitler is Dead. Adolf Hitler visits the trenches where he served during World War I as part of the Bavarian 16th Reserve Regiment near Fonels. The Hitler Regiment held this line for 18 months. 89-year-old billionaire J. Howard Marshall and model Anna Nicole Smith. She eagerly awaited the reading of his will, but her husband didn't leave her a single cent. Beauty pageant in Cliftonville, 1936. To ensure jury objectivity, the contestants' faces were covered. The most common goods in the store window, prosthetics, post-war London, 1946. The Great Ohio River flood of January 1937 submerged 70% of Louisville, rendering thousands homeless. Yet one surreal photograph remains from the devastation: a horse lodged high in a tree. Cancer treatment equipment, mid-20th century. A car powered by charcoal, Japan, 1945. Simo Heiha, a Finnish sniper, one of the most effective snipers in world history. According to various estimates, he shot between 542 and 742 Soviet soldiers. In 1997, a collapse occurred at a mine in China. 17 years later, one of the miners was found alive. A fine for an overtly revealing swimsuit, Heemskerk, Netherlands, 1931. This is a warning from a Ku Klux Klan member to African-American residents of a Miami neighborhood who were expected to participate in the elections. May 1939. Anonymous nurse, New York, 1940s. A 32-year-old nurse strangled her lover, a doctor, with a silk belt during a BDSM session in an apartment. He had requested asphyxiation, but she overdid it out of jealousy, since the doctor was cheating on her. The court ruled it as an accident. Japanese people commuting to work in the morning, 1964. Due to population density, pushing and embracing strangers is an everyday occurrence for them. Back then and now, people in Tokyo don't live there. It's very expensive. But they all work in the capital, so they commute for several hours from the suburbs. There are so many people in Japan and so little land, so bumping into and hugging strangers is common. When you love baseball more than anything else, Tigers fans celebrate their World Series victory. Detroit, 1984. An American soldier reads a newspaper with news about Victory in Europe Day to German prisoners of war. New York, 1945. Price controls in Nazi Germany, 1935. Store closed by police for excessively high prices. Store owners sent for re-education in Dachau. A drinking fountain for colored only, USA, 1940s. Germany wins on all fronts. An inscription on the Eiffel Tower during the occupation. Hacker Kevin Mitnick hacked the Pentagon network and Colorado Air Defense at the age of 16. After 5 years in prison, he erased his sentence data from the state registry and emptied the bank account of the judge who sentenced him. A priest holds a service for dozens of Titanic victims before burial at sea, 1912. The funeral of Emmett Till, who was lynched after a false accusation by a white woman. His mother held an open casket funeral to show the entire world what American racism was like. White slaves on the plantations of Barbados. Light-skinned slaves were cheaper than dark-skinned ones, as they were less resilient and obedient. Passengers board the Titanic, 1912. This old photograph, probably taken at the end of the 19th century, looks like it was created to scare future viewers. Two women in long light dresses stand on the porch of a wooden house, their faces stiff and serious, and their thick hair, like dark veils, hides their hands and most of their bodies. An unbelievable family photo. Nevada, 1960s. Girls participate in a Miss Beautiful Eyes contest in Florida, 1930. To make the competition fair, contestants had to hide their entire face except for their eyes. The Great Stingray caught by Captain Can, USA, 1933. German soldiers testing the strength of the gallows before executing suspected Soviet partisans, 1941. Survivors of the Japanese attack on an Australian Navy patrol ship during World War II. They built a raft and were spotted from the air, but due to a storm they were unable to be rescued that day. They were never seen again. A group of Inuit dragging a walrus home to butcher and eat, 1930. 1910, New York. 4 young girls send blessings to people 100 years into the future. In October 1989 in the USSR, a torpedo accidentally struck a submarine when the crew forgot to turn off its homing system during an exercise. The commander of the stricken submarine broadcast an emotional, profanity-laced message over the air. Turkish teenagers marching to take part in the Battle of Gallipoli, 1915. Sparked a reaction. Whether good or bad, I'd love to read your comments below. Get ready for the next installment very soon. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Catch you later.